Hello and welcome to this brand new video series called Amulet on a Budget. We're going to be trying different versions of Amulet Titan, and the goal for this series is we're going to start with this version of the deck, which is as cheap as I could get it to be. This current list that I'm looking at over here is worth $312 on paper and 116 tickets on MTGO. And that's according to MTG Goldfish, of course. You can probably find, the deck for even cheaper than that. But the idea is I wanted to create a series where I'm going to be playing different versions of Amulet, starting with this, which is going to be the cheapest that I can make it be, and then slowly but surely we will be, upgrading our deck as we go. So I think that the goal that I'm going to be going for is going to be $150. So we're going to be starting with this deck list roughly about $300, and then I will be using paper as a point of reference for sure. But I'm going to be adding maybe $100 or $150 for the next series, the next video of the series. Then $150 from that, and like slowly but surely we're going to end up building all the way up to what I would consider to be the optimal Amulet deck list, at least at the point that I'm recording this right here. So this version it's making a lot of concessions. Of course, like you have to understand, while we're playing on a budget, my goal here is to make functional decks that you can win games with, but that obviously they're going to be significantly worse than the optimal versions, right? Like, so I think that you can build this deck and you can definitely go to FNM and you can go like 2-2 or 3-2 in FNM. You can even 4-0, but things are gonna be a lot easier if you have the optimal version of this deck. Like, I can guarantee that the chances that you can top 8 an event like MTG Vegas, last weekend, where 2 Amulet deck lists managed to get into the top 8, that's not gonna happen with this deck. Like, you're just not gonna be able to be there, because the power level of the deck, even though it's still gonna have its explosiveness, the power level of the deck is significantly lower. And obviously that is because the busted cards are the expensive cards, and the expensive cards are expensive for a reason, right? Like, the value of a replacement for those cards, particularly cards like Ursa Saga, particularly cards like Valakut, which are expensive in paper, it's because they're so unique and so irreplaceable. So just kind of by design, we are going to be playing a worse version of the deck when we're playing on a budget, but we can still play this deck and we can still do well with it. So of course there are going to be certain cards that are just, they're not a matter of choice, right? Like, we need to be playing 4 copies of Primeval Titan, we need to be playing 4 copies of Amulet of Vigor, we need to be playing 4 copies of Summoner's Pact, and at least 2 or 3 copies of Azusa. And the more that we play on a budget, the more Azusa that we're gonna need. So ideally I would be playing 4 copies of Azusa in this deck list. I'm playing 3 right now, but it's fine. Same thing with Castle Garenbrig. The Castle Garenbrig is a card that I wish that I could play 4 copies of, but again, as a budget constraint, I am playing with another copy of Crumbling Vestige. You're also going to see that for this video, we're going back to an oldie but a goodie in Gemstone Mine. This is a deck a card that hasn't really been showing up in Amulet decks for a while now, and that is because of the printing of Castle and having access to Breeding Pool. But it turns out Breeding Pool is a lot of money in paper, so this deck list is not going to have any Breeding Pool. This deck is not going to have any fetch lands. If you do have any of those laying around, well, much better for you, right? Like, you just get a very, very easy shoo-in include into your deck. But again, I'm trying to go with the bare bones minimum package. We're going to have a list that looks very, very similar to what Amulet deck lists used to look like before MH1 was printed, or like about that time. So we're gonna have, with the addition of Castle, with the addition of like a couple of cards in there, but overall the list is gonna look very similar. So we're gonna see all the classics such as Colony Garden. We see no Valakut and no Dryad, and we have access to Growth Chamber plus Tolera West. Like, Tolera West, we're going to be seeing 3 copies, and that's because TOS is going to be very much our engine here. We do have access to Stronghold, Sunhome, and Vesuva, so our Titans are as good as they can be, mostly because we need them to kill, right? Like, we're not going to have access to our Dryad angle of attack. Yeah, besides that, we also have access to Tireless Tracker as our extra threat. It would be actually interesting to play with Cultivated Colossus in this list, but Cultivated Colossus is actually quite expensive, both in paper and even more so on Magic Online. So because of that, we're going for, you know, Colossus at home. Though arguably, Tireless Tracker is a little bit better against cards like Dress Down and stuff like that. But yeah, no Cavern of Souls in the main deck nor in the sideboard. That's definitely one of the very first upgrades that we're going to be making, and one of the reasons why I used a pretty steep difference in price in $150. But just if we want to add Cavern of Souls to this deck, which is I think a pretty immediate addition to the deck and one that we want to try to make sure that we add as quickly as possible, that in and of itself is going to be like $90 or something like that, because that card is ridiculously expensive in paper. But yeah, so that's going to be your main deck. And our sideboard is going to include Radiant Fountain, Tormod's Crypt, a couple of copies of Nature's Claim, and Seal of Primordium. Again, these are cards that, you know, we used to see a lot back in the day, but nowadays Force of Vigor was printed, so we're just running Forces, which are better, but again, they're pretty expensive in paper. Outland Liberator, this is the card that I choose to play. You can play Rexage, you can play Foundation Breaker, like whatever you want, but personally I like Liberator better because you can answer Torpor Orb, couple of copies of Relic of Progenitus, couple of copies of Dismember. Tireless Tracker, Thron is going to be our anti-control hate, as opposed to something like Cavern of Souls, Obstinate Baloth against aggro decks, and a couple of extra copies of Engineered Explosives as removal. So this is the list that we're going to be trying in this league that we're going to be playing. If you're enjoying this kind of content, of course, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and leave me a message down below in the comments if there's anything that you liked, anything that you didn't like, and particularly, you know, with any new series, I am always eager to hear your feedback. So definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for round number 1. All right, here we go. We're on the play. Man, this is a classic looking hand. This is a classic looking hand. This brings me back. This brings me back to simpler times. Simpler times. Easier times. None of this companion nonsense back in those times, you know? Good times. The best of times. One is called Top Deck. Burning Catacombs is probably not good news for me. Stomping Ground. Probably Monkey. At least knowing that there's a Lurrus here means that should not be afraid of Blood Moon out of the Stomping Ground deck. Would love to see a bounce land. That's probably my best draw. Perfect. That is absolutely fantastic. So what we're gonna do now is, I know that my opponent knows about this, but I'm gonna want to transmute next turn. So I'm gonna have to play out the Growth Chamber. Just kind of awkward because it shows my hand. I mean, it shows them one more card from my hand, but it's not really that big of a deal. This is looking good now. So next turn I can go Tracker into Get a Clue. We're looking pretty good here. Also, I can't wait for my opponent to just bringing out my Moons post Cyber and name Ursa Saga. I cannot wait for that to happen. Abrupt Decay, my Amulet. Okay, so easy line here. We're just gonna go Tracker into Growth Chamber, get a clue for our troubles, pass the turn. So we're playing against John Saga here. Now it's been confirmed. Next turn we're going to be able to play T-West, get another clue, draw a couple of cards. We could also play this Stacy, but I think I'd rather use my mana to crack clues and draw cards. If this Tracker survives, obviously. It's a DRC and I imagine a removal spell? Yeah. I do imagine correctly. Being in the DRC, okay. Let's see what we got. Untap land is what we're looking for. No such luck. Yes, such luck. All right. So we have a Primeval Titan coming down next turn. And we do have main deck Bog, which is going to come in super handy. Okay, put in fetches. To be honest, like, our hand is pretty fantastic. I'm really struggling to see a world in which we can ever lose this game. Hehehehe. Nothing like adding insult to injury, right? Nothing like adding insult to injury. I wonder if they have Colon's Command or another Abrupt Decay. What's up? Here's my boy. Opponent could have an Holy Heat, that's for sure. So I think I'm not gonna haste here. Although I guess it's kind of interesting. Like, I have 2 Titans in hand plus 2 more in play. So I think I'm actually gonna go for it here. Because if my opponent hits, then they don't make a token. So I think this is just fine for me. Oh, they just have 16 for value. Well, that's very good for me. So that means the game is over now. Sweet, awesome. So now we're gonna get Bog and Ghost Squatter. What can my opponent get off of the Ursa Saga that I can be threatened by? Nothing really, right? So I'm gonna do this so I can play around. They don't have heat, obviously, right? Because if they had, they would have heated my Titan before combat. So by doing this, I deny them the second token, and I also deny them the Saga to get back with a Ren or something. Budget Amulet too strong. Budget Amulet too strong. Hell yeah. Alright, let's go. Definitely want the relics. Definitely want the relics. I kind of want the Baloth and I kind of want the Thrun. Don't want Stacy. Gracer's great. Thrun kind of lines up pretty well against their stuff. Explorer's pretty good. Maybe we can shave one Asusa. I mean, we don't have Dryad, so I don't really think that shaving Asusa is where I want to be. Explorer's really good though. Man, sideboarding with suboptimal lists is kind of interesting. It's really, really interesting to sideboard with a weird list. I feel like I want to cut maybe a basic. Because these are just better than maybe a Gemstone Mine. Maybe a Gemstone Mine and just got one Explorer. Could cut a Tireless Tracker, but I think that I do want the extra threats in this matchup. Nature's Claim is an interesting addition. Also, Second Explosives is interesting. Yeah, I kind of like Second Explosives. My opponent's going to be bringing in Alpine Moon and stuff, so I think Second Explosives is going to be good. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. All right, here we go. This hand's fantastic. Let's keep it. Turn 1 Gracer into Bounce Land. We got Thrun, Explore, turn 3 Thrun. This is really good. Inquisition could be a little bit annoying. They can take my Gracer and slow me down. If they do that, I'm gonna Vesuva their Blood Crypt as opposed to playing the Forest. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they take the Gracer here. Honestly, seems like the better card. Which is a very weird thing to say. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna Vesuva their Blood Crypt. So that we can explore on turn 2. It's a pretty good one for them not to know about. That's a pretty good one for them not to know about. Hit me with that Croxa, opponent. Hit me with that Croxa. I want to see the Croxa. I think they don't play Croxa, they only play Goif, but... Oh man, they know about it now. The good thing is that it does affect it, like the value of Colon's command is a lot worse now, right? So even though they know about this Bailoff, it's still rather impactful. They do take the Thron. They do take the last troll. There it goes, the last troll. Gone forever now. Explore. Okay. Talk to me, deck. Talk to me, deck. So all of these cards my opponent doesn't know about. This they do. So the potential impact of Alpine Moon is something to consider here. Necromentia. Okay. That's a new addition. These decks oftentimes don't have Necromentia, so we're gonna get God here. Which is pretty brutal, really. Pretty brutal. We do have access to, like, the fact that they thought this Mitron is such a big deal. I guess what we could do here is we could pact for Tireless Tracker. The problem is that we don't get... I think I'm just gonna go for Bailoff here. And next turn we can pact for Tracker. We do have Tracker as a threat. And I guess we're gonna have it 2-2. My opponent is at 12. Because they've been fetching and shocking willy-nilly over there. And we have a powerful 2-2 token. Okay. Swing for 2. So the only thing that really worries me is the fact that if my opponent has Alpine Moon, we just die. Am I far behind enough? I'm just gonna play this Bailoff. It's super rough if my opponent has another discard spell, but they went through Inquisition, Thoughtseize, and Necromentia, so they probably don't have that much left. That's a DRC. 2 card types in the bin. Doomblade and my Bailoff. It's almost poetic. It's almost poetic. Alright, so token's gonna be able to get 2 more points of damage. Stronghold. I'm gonna pact for Tracker, because it's one of the few threats that we have left. I'm gonna play this, and I think I want to crack right now to play around Unholy Heat. Yeah. It plays into this card, but not super likely my opponent has this card. And they can have Bolt, but Push doesn't kill the Tracker unless they have a way to enable it. Amulet could be an interesting draw. What else? Gracer would be a pretty good draw. Gracer would be a surprisingly good draw here. Opponent could put Lurrus to hand, take a hit, Tarmogoyf. Okay. Looking for Relic here. Relic is my best draw. Gonna pay for Pact. Relic, Gracer. Okay, so play that. Make another token. Bounce this. I'm setting up a transmute. This tracker is going to outgrow Tarmogoyf soon enough. They need to find an answer to the tracker. That's an answer to the tracker. Okay. That Necromentia definitely was very effective. Point attacks for 8. I mean, this token's gonna get in there. You know what I'm saying? Pact would be nice. Explore. Don't have any white sources. That's a really big game. Yeah, that's really big game. So let's play Relic here. Incredible top deck, really. Heat my zombie. We still got 2 land drops here, so I think I'm going to just play. If I copy the Glurl Turf, then we get super got by Alpine Moon. So I think what I want to do is play, but that's the most mana that I can net. That's the most mana that I can net, so I think I have to prioritize that right now. Play land and say go. Really timely draw there. I guess there's an argument for doing that on main phase. The reason for that being that I could have found a Gracer. Lurrus to hand. Necromentia again. Jesus. Okay. Well, they take the last Tireless Tracker. Now I'm only left with Asusa. To be fair, Asusa is lethal on 2, but maybe this list should have a Walking Ballista. I forgot about Walking Ballista. I'm honestly super surprised that this deck is playing multiple Necromencias. Okay. I'm literally out of threats. Conley Garden Beats, I guess. Okay, so this is the plan. This is the plan. We're gonna try to Bordos Garrison, bounce here. We're gonna try to hope to draw. I'm gonna try to hope to draw Bojugabog or the double strike land. Those are kind of the only cards that matter right now. But I left myself the option to, if I draw to Lurrus, be able to transmute for one of those. I guess Engineered Explosives also an option. They have something like Colonist Command that's going to be really rough. Yeah, honestly, I just forgot about Walking Ballista. I wonder if Walking Ballista is expensive in paper. There's no way it's expensive in paper, right? Although maybe it is, I really don't know. The price of paper cards is something that completely evades me. We getting frisky? We are. Well, I'm not blocking, right? Because they just ping minus. So again, Bojugabog or double strike land? Crumbling Vestige. Not quite, not quite. I'm gonna hold on to the bounce land in case. Hold on to the bounce land in case I find Bojugabog, so I can exile my opponent's graveyard and my own. It's the one they got back with the Ren. Engineered Explosives would also be quite solid. Yeah, definitely not interested in that. Gonna take one again. I think this is lethal. This is actually lethal. Unless they have a removal spell, obviously, right? But how hilarious is this? How absolutely hilarious is this? Do we have the removal spell opponent? Because I'm not playing around anything, right? Obviously, things are getting a lot worse for me here. Holding on to that bounce land for the win. Yes. Let's go, Azusa. Oh, man. But yeah, did you folks see how I set that up, right? Like I saw the fact that we were in terrible position and the only way that I could win if by somehow getting lucky, and I did. And then but again, like, to be fair, like, we're drawing towards 2 explosives, we're drawing towards 2 Tolera Wests. But I did set myself up with this Bordos Garrison. I also set myself up to draw in Bojugabog, which would allowed my Azusa to attack through the Tarmogoyf, which is nice. So pretty cool, really cool match. See you for the next one. All right, round number 2, playing against Yorion. Yep, keep this hand. Is this a turn 3 Titan? Yes, it is a turn 3 Titan. You love to see it. It's gonna be probably a hard matchup because a very important tool in this matchup is Cultivator Colossus and or a way to grind through 1,000,000 Solitudes. we don't have that. So could be rough. Could be rough. There's also the fact that, you know, playing around prismatic ending could be a problem, and you know, we don't have access to that as many amulets for obvious reasons. And that, I think, it's probably one of the things about playing a budget deck. It's just because your power level, it's a little bit lower. The amount of cards that you can really afford to play around are just, you know, not as many. So we're probably gonna need to jam a lot more than we would be able to jam with a normal list. Good example of this would be Cavernous Souls, right? Like a bunch of times against control decks, what you can do is you can like slow roll your plays, so you can set up a situation where you are using you know, Cavernous Souls, transmute for Cavernous Souls in order to get ahead. And oh, my opponent just had the Grief Ephemerate combo in the ready card deck in the opening hand with 7. Sounds good. Well, there goes this game, I guess. There goes this game, I guess. Fun. There goes this game. Can we realistically win here? I mean, I guess we could, right? What would need to happen for us to win? Tireless Tracker would be a fantastic draw. Another Primeval Titan would be pretty good as well. Play that. It shows them what I drew, but I need that to be in play so I can use Castle. So unfortunately, gonna have to do that. And so far, my draw looks like legit Amulet. This is like yeah, this is a Reanimator. I don't like this deck at all. I don't like this deck. I don't really see the appeal. Well, we're not doing well. So like we could be playing against a ham sandwich and we would be losing anyway at this point. This grief art is just like so weird. I don't even know what that is. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Like what's that supposed to be? Ooh, yes, this is awesome for me. That's so good for me. Like they just wasted a card for no reason and no value whatsoever. That's very good for me. Let's go with Rule Turf here, I think. I don't think game 1 they have any way to punish me there. So if you imagine they're gonna, yeah, you're gonna go for the 3 damage here. They have another Ephemerate. That's funny. All right. I think I'm gonna Vesuva. I'm gonna Vesuva their Triumph, because that's gonna allow me to haste a Titan if I draw one. It's probably not a great play though. Now that I drew the white source, I'm more interested in copying their Steam Vents because I can find, and I can then like transmute. So yeah, I think we're doing that. So copy that, say no, play this, bounce this, and replay. It's possible they have perfect info here. I'm honestly not sure. I just stopped caring. Oops. Almost F6 on my turn. I have one more. One more land drop. So they have nothing to reanimate. I mean, nothing of, you know, value to reanimate. Grief's just beating down. Sure. Pretty unlucky, honestly. I mean, I do feel like if we had found a Primeval Titan at literally any point, could have been in okay shape. We're just gonna die to 3-2 beatdowns. So many 3-2s. Okay, we died. Sideboard. We do like Tormod's Crypt, we do like relics. I think I do like Bailout. Don't like explosives. Druid Bog is good. Stacy seems kind of legit. Gracer we can cut. Tracker seems good. I don't think I care for Thrun. I don't care for Ghost Quarter. Yeah, let's go with this. Nature's Claim is interesting. I don't think I like it. They could have, you know, Alpine Moon or something like that, but it's kind of whatever. I do like this hand though, unless we get Grief Ephemerated into Oblivion again, which hopefully we don't. So my opponent gonna have the combo on 7 again. No, Prismatic Ending. Boo. Boo. Pretty good draw, because this allows me to cast the Explorer while continuing to develop my mana, and holding a bounce land in hand, which is pretty important here. I am gonna get one of these out of the way though. Let's go with Sanctuary. Just gonna bounce Vestige. Next turn we can Tracker plus Crack Clue, which is pretty nice. The problem is we're gonna have to do it main phase. Oof, never mind. We're gonna get Ephemerated here. What's the plan? Or not. Well, that's sad. Scuffle do anything? Not really. So I'm not gonna show the card. Oh, Marked Grave. Okay. Can we please find the Primeval Titan? Yes. Yes. Okay, so we're just gonna castle. We're gonna prime time for Bog and Tolera West. To West, Virginia Bog. This plays around Solitude very nicely. I mean, it's not great if they have Solitude, like it's still, you know, it still gets rid of my Primeval Titan, but I mean, I was bound to find the Solitude eventually, right? And we do have the second blue source in this Crumbling Vestige, so it's not that bad of an issue. That's really bad though. Can I please attack? Pretty please. Oh man. Okay. So I think I'm just gonna play the forest. And if I find a Susa, then I'm gonna be able to just play Vestige into Rot Farm. It's the only way that I can. Or Gracer. I guess Gracer also does it, Explorer also does it. So I guess we do have a, you know, a non-zero amount of options here. One in Shocks. Sure. Dam Brawler. Bounce my Amulet. I like that. Can I force this? There's no way, right? Tracker. So I'm gonna play the bounce, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna crack the clue before the bounce trigger goes on the stack, so I know my options. Okay, so now that we know that we're drawing that, I think I'm just gonna bounce Bujuba Bog. Pass the turn. Persist. Yeah, that sucks. Nice, okay. That's pretty good. Thank you, Talus Tracker. So now we're gonna get to transmute here, which is pretty nice. Summoner's Pact, show me that force. I see no force, folks. I see no force, and I see a Primeval Titan entering the battlefield. Do I play around Ephemerate is the question now. Do I play around Ephemerate? Can I play around Ephemerate? I mean, I can. Then I get got by grief. Am I far behind enough? My opponent did not shock. I think I'm just gonna go for it here. Also, all my future draws are made a lot better by having access to Stronghold. I'm gonna bounce that one, combat. Sweet. I think I want to go face. Actually, I do want to go face because that's just lethal, right? Because we randomly drew the Sun Home. I mean, just saying. I'm just saying. Budget Amulet can still win some games. Budget Amulet can still win some games. Okay, what else? What else we got here? Do I want the Thrun? Do I want a 4th copy of Tracker? I think I don't. I think this is fine. Definitely the explosives are not what I want to be doing. The Thrun is the big question, I think. Something, it just doesn't line up too well against their threats, though. So I think it's fine. Oh, well, this is definitely a hand that, you know, gets destroyed by Grief Ephemerate, but like all of my hands get destroyed by Grief Ephemerate anyway, so. Definitely gonna high roll with this Amulet. My opponent could have Prismatic Ending, that's fine, but if I do get to turn to Azusa, that's a big deal for me. Wear Tear. Okay. So play Relic. Exile your thingy. And here's the beautiful synergy with Bounce Lands and Just a Mine. Gorgeous synergy. Gorgeous synergy. Very sweet. Just doesn't do anything. I'm surprised that they kept this in. Like, the rest of their deck must suck, honestly. Because this card is not good at all against us. It's very, very much not good. So I'm assuming the rest of their deck must not be very good either against what we're doing. Okay, so we're gonna lead on Relic of Progenitus. And we're gonna play the Stormlord script. We're not getting comboed out, opponent. We're not getting comboed out. So let's explore. That's nice. 1, 2. So I think I'm just going to bounce Gemstone, replay it, and simply pass the turn holding up Relic activation. I could transmute for Summoner's Pact. But I think that this is better because if my opponent goes for Grief, I can just Pact for... Oh, never mind. I cannot Pact for... What's his name? Because I do have Tormod Script. I guess I'd rather just have 2 layers of interaction as opposed to just the one. This is just fine, I think. Tap to Fairy. Pass the turn. They could have put Yorion in hand and they didn't, so they obviously have something going on here. Wear Tear. I mean, I'm gonna draw a card instead of not drawing a card, so there's that. Another Relic is nice. Another Relic is pretty nice. Summoner's Pact. Yeah. Actually, let's attack first. Because I'm not gonna, I could haste the Titan, but I don't think I want to. And this way, if my opponent has hard cast Solitude, I don't just, you know, get completely obliterated by it. We already have a T-West in hand. Faithful Mending. Okay. Definitely say yes. And I definitely want to have access to Stronghold for next turn. And I think that means that I want to have access to Boros Garrison as well. But extra land drops here, so gonna float a mana. Let's float a mana. Now let's reset the gemstone. And I think I'm actually gonna hold on to the Gracer. The reason for that is so I can discard it to Archon. I mean, there's no way we can get comboed out here, so we don't have to worry about getting comboed out. Burial Rites. Fairy, that's fine. Arid Mesa. Okay, so Susa. So these attacks them, this attacks the fairy. Marked Grave. Oh no. Oh no, this is fine, whatever. This is perfectly fine. Yep. All of this is fine. We have 2 layers of interaction, so my opponent wants to like fetch and shock and do a bunch of things here. Like I really don't care. Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm activating here. So I think I'd rather just crack Relic. Budget Amulet 2-0. Let's go. Alright, 2-0. Not quite. I don't think we're going to be keeping this hand. Can we keep this hand? Does have a Titan, does have a Castle. I'm not excited about this hand at all. But I don't think we can really go down to, you know, even further. What is this? Goblin Guide. Alright. We may have a shot here, actually. You love to see it. The literal best possible top deck. You love to see it. This might have been a mistake, actually, now that I think about it. Can we find another Gracer, please? Yes. 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 So play that, bounce here. I think I want to play that. Let's go, Gracer. Does my opponent have another Searing Blaze? Doesn't look like they do. Yep, you love to see when the opponent bolts the Gracer. Okay, we could be in trouble here. Riftbolt, enter the exile zone. Alright, so we're gonna transmute for Summoner's Pact. Play Azusa. Play this. Saga. We'll see if this Primeval Titan is a little bit too slow. My opponent has a lot of burn over there. I may have to just chump block the Goblin Guide. Because we know for a fact that they at least have three spells. Riftbolt suspended. Lava Spike face. Okay, so this Gracer. 1, 2. Cast Prime Time. Cast Prime Time. Get Bounce Land. Man, this is the only bounce land that doesn't allow me to haste the Titan here, which is pretty brutal. I guess another Growth Chamber wouldn't allow me either, but so we cast Prime Time. Yeah, we can only make one of the mana, so I can go up to 9 and hope that I'm not dead. Yeah, I think that's the better play. I could also try to play around double Lightning Bolt, but I think going up to 9 is the better line here. And I'm gonna play Gracer just as a chump blocker, just as a blocker for the Gobbo, so I don't die to Boros Charm. Okay, so opponent has lethal, because otherwise they would have hit the Titan with the Riftbolt. So I'm assuming that they just have lethal here. Not much we can do about that. Not much to be done. They don't have it. Wow. That's incredible. Wow, they just didn't have it. Okay. Love me some Nature's Claims in this matchup. it's super funny actually. You can claim your own amulet, or you can claim Eidolons and the other things. So pretty flexible card in this matchup. I think I'm gonna bring in 1 explosives. Dismember, no. It's just tracker's pretty bad overall. Just go with this. Tracker's just not good, unfortunately. I was considering playing multiple Bailoffs in this sideboard over the Radiant Fountain. I think that it's split maybe better, but I'm not for 100% sure. I mean, I'm gonna keep this hand. Smash this meter is kind of a beating for this hand. And we can go turn 1 smash, turn 1 amulet to set up for a top deck D'Souza, or we can go turn 1 Colony Garden. I think I'm gonna go for Colony. Turn 1 amulet is better against Eidolon. I guess it depends on what my opponent does. If they go turn 1 Gobo, probably gonna go for Colony here. Summoner's Pact. Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to save a couple of life here. Engineered explosives. I'm gonna play this out, so if my opponent has if they have the 2-mana thing that blows up artifacts, yes, exactly. That's so I just baited out this smash with the explosives so I can save the amulet. And now I can Lurrus to hand. It's pretty good for the home team. I could pact for Azusa here. If I pact for Azusa... No, let's just pass, because next turn we can pact for Bailoff. And play the Bailoff if my opponent answers my amulet. Summoner's Pact. Okay, now that we're drawing a second pact, I'm gonna go for prime time into Bailoff, I think. I guess it depends if they tap out of Skullcrack or not. Skewer, pass. Well, I guess I don't have to do that. Bounce this. Primeval Titan. So we're probably dead to Skullcrack. We're probably dead to Skullcrack here, which sucks, but I think it's what we have to do. Okay, no Skullcrack is big game. Alright, pass the turn. If they have Path to Exile, then we're just ecstatic here. Excellent. This is just not a good card. Like if you're a burn player, I don't think that Path to Exile is a good card. Look at how much better like just kind of any burn spell would have been right there. I mean, we still like Dwarf Charm plus Bolt. So it's not it though. Okay, so what can we do here? We play Amulet. Play Amulet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play Castle. Yeah, I think we have to play Amulet here. Packed for prime time. We know one of their cards is Lurrus. And what happens if I still have a land drop to give? So I think I'm gonna go for Tulare West and Vesuva. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Tulare West and Vesuva. So now we're gonna be able to play Colony Garden and Pact for Obstinate Baloth. Go up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Summoner's Pact, Obstinate Baloth. Got 2 packs to pay, which we can pay for easily. That's one of them. One, 2, 3, 4. So yes. Let's see if my opponent's got the Path to Exile. Looks like they don't. Gonna go Growth Chamber Tulare West here, I guess. Can bounce to Vesuva. Maybe we shouldn't have attacked with Baloth. Probably doesn't matter. Deflecting Palm. Okay. So play this. Transmute for Pact. Gonna Pact for Asusa. Vesuva Fountain. Gain some life. We know the last card is Lurrus, so. Oh, I totally forgot about that Rift Bolt. Okay, we may actually die here. We die to like any bolt. They drew it. Brutal. Oh. Sweet, we win. Awesome. 2, 3, 4. So play that one. Double strike the big boy. Serve. Say yes. Stronghold Garrison. What's that? Don't let anybody tell you that Magic is a pay-to-win game. Just don't let them. Just don't let them tell you that. It's just not true. See you for the next round. All right, here we go. 3-0 somehow. Opponent does not reveal Companion. And we take a look at this hand. They mull to 6. I think I'm gonna ship this hand. Man, if these had been if any of these trackers had been in Asusa, I would have been ecstatic about those hands, but I think we're gonna go into 5. I mean, this is the best of the bunch we've seen so far, so keep that. Bottom and bottom. All right. I mean, that's a turn for Titan. So, oh no, opponent's on control and I have no caverns in my deck. I mean, we have a Titan next turn. We do have a Primeval Titan coming in next turn if my opponent has no interaction for what I got going on. Roving Triumph, Steam Vents. Please step out for something silly, opponent. Just Nars at me. The Fairy Plus. Green. Azusa. Well, if you got me, OP. I don't think things are gonna get any better with time, so I think it's correct for me to jam. And this is what I was saying earlier, you know, with what is my opponent doing over there? Like, I'm definitely not gonna go for it here. What are they doing? Just playing full color or nothing? Somnath? It's not Omnath mana. Oh, just Glimpse? Okay. Well, I'm obviously very sad that, you know, I did what I did now. Because we were good to go if I had hasted. My opponent wouldn't have been dead. But, you know, it would be in much better shape. Second Fury, okay. It's really good. That kills both the Azusa and the Prime Time. So this turn we're not going to be able to achieve much, I don't think. On the plus side, I kind of whiffed. So I have to pay for pack now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Engineered Explosives. Oh, we can just Titan here. Duh. Of course, Crumbling Vestige is messed up. Good old Vestige. This Prime Time is trading with the Fury, however. Is that something I'm interested in? I think so. Because any permanent that I get rid of is just good for me. So swing. I imagine my opponent's gonna trade. We can't really do anything else here, so imagine we're just gonna trade and I'm just gonna play these Engineered Explosives. Opponent does not trade. Interesting. What's your plan, opponent? To Charlotte's Agent again. Okay. I think we let this resolve. And we're gonna blow up the token's response to this. And hope that they whiff. It's not a whiff. That is not a whiff. That is certainly not a whiff. It could be not lethal though. Maybe I should have held on to the... Maybe I should have held on to the explosives. Opponent's still going off. They're not done. I don't really see the appeal of the glimpse deck. It's just so weird to me. I really don't see what you would want to be just like spinning the wheel over and over again. Sure, when you do the thing, it can be strong, but like they just whiffed. Like they made infinite. They played an insane amount of cards in play and achieve kind of nothing. So we have enough mana to do everything. I think so. My opponent has 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 toughness. So 3 to transmit, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is fine. So you just have to be careful to do this. Make sure that I transmute using the proper colors. That's okay. Bounce that. Transmute. Summoners backed. Backed for another prime time. Very surprised my opponent did not trade last turn. Very, very surprised. Very, very surprised they didn't trade when given the chance. The Glimpse deck. What do we want against the Glimpse deck? Actually, Stacy could be fine. Could cut Explorers, maybe for a couple of relics. I don't think Bojuka Bog is gonna be good. Maybe another Engineered Explosives. Crypt is kind of fine, but not really. I could have won Dismember against Omnath, but don't think so. What do we got here? That was a move to 5, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm gonna ship this, keep this, I guess. Chancellor of the Forge. Token. Okay. Obviously, things not looking great here. Obviously, things are not looking great. Maybe they whiff somehow. Maybe. Okay, so the way that we want to do this is we want to make sure that we use the land that uses the stack first, so that we get to play Azusa. Now we're going to play the land that doesn't use the stack, and finally we're going to play again the land that uses the stack. And then I'm going to bounce the Vestige so we have flexibility in our colors for next turn. I mean, we can haste Primetime next turn, but it all depends, and they do nothing. I think they're just sandbagging. Yeah, they just wanted to like get a couple more tokens into play. Whew, that's a lot of stuff. I guess it's not that much. They do get to, you know, kind of go off a little bit. So if they have another glimpse, Maybe they get to do something and kill me here. Sure. Spin that wheel, opponent. Spin it. Spin it. Yeah, this multi 5 did not go as well as the previous one. Unsurprisingly. So Fury kills Azusa. We cannot haste prime time now. Just a little bit more problematic. You have 7 cards in hand too. It's a lot of cards. Hardcast Wave Sifter, let's go. Another outburst. There was no reason to hardcast there. They just wasted a bunch of damage from a bunch of mana for no reason, because they could have gotten the tokens and with the evoke trigger on the stack used outburst and they would have, you know, have 3 more mana available. This is lethal anyway. We just died to the Chancellor triggers, but yeah. Neat little trick that my opponent could have taken advantage of right there. I mean, this is kind of what it is, right? Unfortunately, this is just kind of what it is. There's not too much that I can do about it. I just have to hope that I get luckier than my opponent. I mean, if we find a bounce land off the top, this hand slaps. This one's better though. We still kind of need to find a bounce land though. Gemstone Cavern is very good. Gemstone is very good right there. Really gotta find a bounce land here. Bajugabog doesn't really do it. And I could Pact for an Azusa here. The thing is that it's not really getting me anywhere, right? Because I cannot get full advantage of the Azusa. So my best draw would be... Castle. If I find Castle, maybe I have a shot. Weird hand from opponent. Super weird hand, it's just not doing anything. Yeah, that's unfortunate. 32 land deck, not getting there. This is how our undefeated streak is gonna end. It's an ugly way. It's an ugly way to finish an undefeated streak. Castle. Okay. This is not looking good. There goes the outburst. All right. Do we have another one? Do we have another outburst here? Know that my opponent wants to kill me with Chancellor tokens, so they didn't attack with the Fury before doing this. They cracked the clue with the floating mana value. Oh, the the +1/+0 stays. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think we're just gonna be one turn too slow, which is pretty brutal. So I definitely want to find a blue source here and I guess a radiant fountain. But the blue source is important because the blue source is what's going to allow me to transmute for explosives next turn. Then we can block the Chancellor. Yeah, doesn't look good. I can block the Chancellor here. We take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we die to another Outburst. But I think it's important for me to be able to untap with this Prime Time. If they just serve with the Fury, I think I'm going to take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can play second Titan and I can haste it. I could also transmute for engineered explosives, which I think is what I want to do. So we attack for 6, we threaten activation. Definitely gotta get Vesuva copying there. And I can choose whether to play Gracer or transmute for explosives or just play Primeval Titan. Crap clue, that's fine. If I activate, I can then transmute, but I can't crack the explosives. So that's no good. Opponent doesn't block. No blocks means that I want to let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cast Primeval Titan. 3 to transmute. Because I can get double Crumbling Vestige. So I can get a prime time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. Cast prime time. Get blue. Transmute for explosives. I think this is good. So vestige. Blue. Transmute for engineered explosives. Play explosives for 0. Say go with explosives activation up. My opponent gets to crack a clue if they want to. Oh, I wonder if they're going to force here. They could force. They don't. Okay. But now we have a blocker for the Chancellor. We're chilling at 20. Opponent makes their land drop. Foundation Breaker. They stack their triggers properly. Okay, forcing my hand. They can outburst now, taking the Foundation Breaker as well. But then the explosives resolves. So that means that all of their tokens are gonna get got. So spinning the wheel once again. They found Dark Dwellers. I would imagine we're dead now. Because they're gonna get to spin again. So at this point they probably flip their entire deck. Explosives trigger is still on the stack, so they can't kill me with... They can't kill me with the thing yet. They're gonna get to clear my board. But they're at 5. Dryad. Yeah, the Dryad's gonna be painful here. I mean, the fact that I don't have Dryad is gonna be painful, is what I mean. I think we play this game pretty well, though. Pretty happy with how I mean, I can't do anything, so I'm just gonna have 6 here. Enjoy the show, I guess. Opponent floats a bunch of mana. They kill one of my things. Spain again. Okay. Again, all of this with the Engineered Explosives trigger on the stack still. They are going to get to flip their entire deck, though. I think this is a kill because of how Fury and Omnath work or something like that. I heard something about if you stack your triggers properly, like you need to stack 2 and then you kill the Omnath and then the Omnath dies. So like, but all the triggers are still on the stack, so it looks at last known information. And then what happens is like you just take, you know, all of these triggers worth of 4 damage because that's the last trigger for Omnath. This is kind of fun though. Opponent's going off over there. Yeah, they're gaining a bunch of life right there. Again, I have no idea how this works and how they managed to gain all of that life. Net in a ton of mana. Okay. All the tokens die. Has the dust finally settled? or is there still more to come? Looks like there's still more. But wait, there's more. Also, my opponent's at 28, which is kind of hilarious. So I probably can't beat them anymore at this point. Really popping off. This is the classic state of, am I dead yet? Am I dead yet? Mom, am I dead yet? But wait, there's more. They flashback outburst, which then finds the glimpse. That's pretty sick, actually. Alright, so I probably can't beat this, I assume. Yeah, now they have double Chancellor, so I'm assuming that I'm taking a Gazillion. So at this point, I am actually dead. And that was kind of fun, though. That matchup seems close to unwinnable anyway. See you for the last round. Alright. Last match of the day. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'm keeping this hand. What do you got, Windsweep Heath? You got nothing on me. Basic Forest. Uh-oh. How am I managing to get paired against Infect? Gonna block your dude. That doesn't cast Blighted Agent. I think I'm taking this hit because there's nothing that can kill me from here. Okay, so Amulet. Play this. Bounce. Play Grazer. Play this. Bounce. Play Azusa. Play this. Play that. Play Tracker. Your go. I wonder if my opponent's playing the bug version of Infect that I tried the other day on stream, and the mana in that version of the deck is just non-functional. It's super brutal. Oh, maybe they're mono green. Okay. Might of Old Crosser. Can I kill from here? No, but I have Ghost Quarter, so I'm gonna take this chump here. Because I'm playing Ghost Quarter main deck, so my prime time can protect me. Gonna yield to the tracker. Bounce. And bounce again. This is primetime mana. Play primetime, say yes. Bodos Garrisons, later Stronghold. We don't have to play around Vines, which is cool. So, haste Primeval Titan. Bounce that. Go to combat. Attack with both of these. We're going to find Ghost Quarter and probably not Radiant Fountain. Just do Growth Chamber. Make sure we have some blue mana. And I can Vesuva the Ghost Quarter. I can Vesuva the Ink Moth too. I think I'm gonna Vesuva the Ghost Quarter. And I'm gonna Ghost Quarter right now because there's a chance my opponent's only playing 2 basics. Yep. That looks pretty good to me. Turns out we were playing Ponza all along. Ha ha ha. Gotcha, opponent. We were actually just playing Ponza. Alright, explosives are great. Bog can go. I think I'm gonna leave a Radiant Fountain just as just an untapped source. Do I want some claims? Some Seal of Primordium? Like this basically only answers Sync Moth Nexus. This only answers Sync Moth. So I think I don't care for that. I'd rather just have a bunch of explorers in before I die to Ink Moth, right? But I mean, with main deck Ghost Quarter, I think that Ink Moth should be fine. Yeah, probably it's fine. All right, so we got double engineered explosives, which is not bad. Alongside Gracer, but we have no end game. I think I'm gonna ship this. This is a lot better. Gonna keep this. Bottom explosives, like this hand is super rough against Force of Vigor. Put him to 4. They could still have a turn 2 kill on 4 cards. We don't have a way to interact with their turn 2 kill. Also, our bounce land is non-green, so that's kind of a beating. Turn 1 Inky. Vesuva. So I think the play next turn is going to be Vesuva copy Ink Moth. Yep. I think it's going to be Vesuva copy Ink Moth. Never mind. Can always just get luckier, you know? Force of Vigor. 2 for 1 in themselves. Okay. That's really good for me, actually. Super, super good for me. They have Surgical? Whoa! They should not have Surgical Extraction against me. Even right now, it kind of looks like it was good, but in reality, it wasn't very good. Like that's as good as Surgical could have been, but it was still a 3 for 2. And instead of using the mana to use my Amulet, I instead just use my mana to play a Grazer, you know? So it does kind of, it wants to suggest that it was good, but in reality, it wasn't. I'll block. We get 3 nice blocks with the Grazer. Grazer's so good. Grazer is so freaking good. Nice. So now we have Titan mana next turn. So I assume that this is going to be game, because I have 2 more chomps with the Grazer, so there's no way that with 1 card in hand my opponent can set up lethal even over 2 turns. Just gonna chomp again. Sure, like they can use a pump spell here to like speed up this process, but then they're gonna be left with like 1 card to kill me. Even if that card is becoming immense, that's still gonna be 7 points. I'm gonna go up to 8. So sure, no, that's perfectly fine. And now the prime time just finds Ghost Quarter, so this is locked up. This is locked up. Ghost Quarter, and could go for Bounce Land, so I can get another Ghost Quarter into play. I could back for Grazer if I really have to next turn. So my opponent's gonna get like 1 hit with, you know, big Infect dude, and then gonna die next turn. Even if they had access to Blighted Agent, I could just transmute for Engineered Explosives. So I think this is just, we're just 100% to win here. Actual 100% to win here. Let's do that, and let's get Sun Home and Cruel Turf. Again, this doesn't really matter. We don't have a haste threat, so it's gonna copy Ghost Quarter. Gonna transmute for explosives, but I'm not gonna play it. Just no need for me to expose it. Explore. Pass the turn. I guess I should have Ghost Quarter there. I mean, it doesn't matter, because sure, they could have Blossoming Defense or Vines, but I just don't need to do anything. A very common play against Infect is to, like, your opponent attacks and you just take it. Sure, like I'll take 1 and swing for lethal next turn on the crackback. Or just wait till end step, and now on my end step, when I'm not taking any extra damage, even if my opponent has the protection spell, I just let it go. And this should be locked up. We can haste, so I'm just gonna haste to super kill my opponent. That's 6 mana. 4 and 1. 4 and 1 with Budget Amulet. Don't let anybody tell you Magic and Modern are pay to win, because Clearly, that's not the case, that we have successfully demonstrated. As we have successfully demonstrated here. Boom. Look at this. Look at those chesties. Look at those chesties. Some good chesties. All right, back to the wrap up. 4-1 is no slouch. Definitely no slouch. We also got to beat Infect in there. We also got to beat some pretty good matchups. Like we got paired against Jump, we got paired against Burn. Those are fantastic matchups for us, so no surprises that we won those. The Reanimator deck could have been a lot worse, but like the Yorion version of Reanimator, I think it's probably just worse than the Esper one, because the Esper one is just so much more consistent, even though it doesn't have as much staying power maybe. I like this deck list a lot actually for what it is, and again, like very budget friendly, about $300. That's like what is like an eighth of what a normal modern deck is worth these days. So that's pretty cheap. Some very small changes you can make, as I said during the league. You could add a walking ballista maybe in the place of one of the tireless trackers. I think that could be an interesting addition. You can also add a fourth copy of Azusa, which I would kind of like. So you can play like over the Stacy, or maybe over, probably not. I think 2 trackers is pretty good main deck. So 2 trackers, 1 walking ballista could be interesting. But overall, the deck list, again, back to the roots, right? Like none of this like Dryad plus Valakut nonsense. We're just trying to win the hard way with Primeval Titans and just making sure that we can grind them down slowly but surely. But it was fun. It was actually really a lot of fun for me to play like a version of Amulet that is a lot more like the old days, back when it was a lot truer that Amulet was a hard deck to play. But yeah, again, you're not playing in easy mode, right? Like whenever you're playing this deck, you're not playing in easy mode. You have to make sure that you are getting every single bit of those edges. And yeah, like some very small changes that I could recommend, like just right away, in case you have the cards or something. Again, like breeding pool over the gemstone mines. That would be a pretty easy upgrade there. You can add another copy of Castle Garenbrig, the Walking Ballista over Tireless Tracker, or like another Azusa, stuff like that. But yeah, for the next stage of the series, we're actually going to be adding a bunch of new cards. I need to check the price of Valakuts and Dryads, because that is like the very first thing that I want to make sure that I'm adding. And hopefully we will be able to add 1 Cavern of Souls as well. I'll have to check with the accountant, you know, make sure that we're still keeping it budgety for your wallet's delight. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and you leave me a comment down below if you have any thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video, folks. Take care. Bye bye.